apologize for that. Before anything, thank you to David and Marvin for sticking around. Those are the channel members. Appreciate you. Appreciate the subscribers. Sorry for the fact that I was gone for a bit there. But I'm back. And now we've reached the 20th installment of Am I the Asshole Stories. Now, if you don't know what Am I the Asshole, the subreddit's all about, it describes itself as this: a catharsis for the frustrated moral philosopher in all of us, and a place to finally find out if you were in the wrong in an argument that's been bothering you. Tell us about any non-violent conflict you've experienced. Give us both sides of the story, and find out if you're right or if you are the asshole. Now, what I do is I take about 5 stories each video. I go over them. I give my take on if the person who wrote the story, from their perspective, if they're the asshole or if the other people are. And then after that, hopefully, I get some audience participation in the comments, and you let me know what you think. So I was thinking, let's begin. And also, I do apologize, my asthma's been acting up that time of year. So, first story. Am I the asshole for making our guests participate in our puppet-themed wedding? My fiance, 26 female, and myself, 27 male, met at college. We were in our school's performing arts program and met in a puppetry class. In the class, we designed our own puppets. Mine was named Hat Boy, and my fiance's was named Daisy. Makes me think of Momoland. Anyway, the puppets were what we initially used to talk to each other and even flirt in class. We fell in love, and in a way, we've considered Hat Boy and Daisy to be in love as well. Years after graduating, we still use Hat Boy and Daisy both at home and at our local but fairly prominent theater, where we perform puppet shows with high-end Muppet-style puppets. While planning our wedding, we realized that we wanted Hat Boy and Daisy to be a part of the ceremony. They've been with us since the beginning, and it just felt right. We also invited our entire troupe of puppeteers from the theater and got the idea that we should have our wedding be officiated by puppets, and that our wedding parties will be made up of puppets, and our closest puppeteer friends, of course. And we figured that it would make for incredible pictures. Now, here's why we aren't sure if we're the assholes or not. We are insisting that all of our guests also participate and use puppets. In lieu of gifts, we've asked everyone to purchase high-quality puppets to use during our wedding. They're not nearly the quality of professional puppets, but still decently expensive. We even took the guesswork out of it and directed them to several vendors, some of whom offer some really cool options. So everyone could realistically expect to spend between $150 to $500, depending on what sort of details and whatnot they wanted to add. We also want everyone to wear their puppets during the entire wedding and reception. All puppets we're suggesting can be mounted on and controlled with one hand. The puppets are meant to be guests at the wedding in the same way that all of our human guests are as well. Well, let's just say there are a lot of people who are not happy about this. Both of our parents, my wife's sister, and family members on both sides have complained that this is completely unreasonable. They're concerned about how they're going to eat and drink or how they're going to dance. We, of course, don't expect people to have their own puppet on hand while in the bathroom, but everywhere else, we'd really like to insist on it. We've also made sure that our hors d'oeuvres are all finger foods. There'll be plenty of cocktail tables so people can put down their drinks. We even made sure that all of the food for the dinner itself is proportioned so that it can be eaten in bite sizes with just a fork without even having to use a knife. We really think this would make for a special day. We only get to do it once, and I think it'll be an event that all of our guests will remember for a lifetime. We have a hard time believing that once the guests are actually there, they wouldn't have a blast. So Reddit, are we the assholes for making what we think is a silly but harmless and reasonable request for our one special day? Thanks for reading. I mean, do you really have to bring a gift if you go to a wedding anyway? I know it's nice, but it's kind of like tipping in a way, isn't it? Now, I don't necessarily think that the people wanting to run the wedding are assholes, but it's kind of weird to me how somebody can be, like they said that they are, how old are you? 26 and 27. You think they'd be a little bit more knowledgeable about the fact that people usually don't want to spend $150 to $500 going somewhere. Keep in mind the economy too. You want every single person who comes there to buy this expensive puppet they're going to use one time and that they probably can't refund. So it's just going to wind up in the garbage or something. It's weird to me. I don't think they're doing it to be selfish, but I feel like it's stemming from ignorance. I don't know. I mean, look, I try not to these days come down on people who have more, who I perceive as having more than me. I never had the money to go to university. Well, maybe I at one point had raised enough, but I wasn't able to because I was crappy at saving money. But that money that I had made to raise that, I wouldn't have been able to get from just my family. It's hard to not immediately go into it thinking, oh, these people have all this money. They just think that everybody else has the amount of money they have to fund these college degrees and all this, and they're not struggling or whatever. And I try to approach things from the point of view that that might not be the case. You know, you can't really immediately villainize someone for having more money or something like that. It comes off as almost like an inferiority complex to do that. But I do wonder if because of the fact that I guess they came from decent economically backgrounds, maybe they don't understand that people don't have the money to just throw, you know, 150, 400, 500 bucks on some puppet. It's like a cute idea, you know. It's nice that you want to actually keep in mind how you met, but you shouldn't impose that on your guests. That's my take on it. Not necessarily assholes, more of a gray area. Number 2. Am I the asshole for giving my sister $13,000 to pay for her in vitro fertilization cycle without consulting my husband? My female 33 sister, female 34, has been struggling with infertility for years. She and my brother-in-law resorted to so many options, including trying rounds of IVF. This is costly, so as a result, a number of IVF cycles had cost them a lot, and none of them actually worked. My sister and brother-in-law were advised to take a break. Seeing the physical and emotional and financial toll that these unsuccessful IVF treatments have had on them made me depressed. But my sister wanted to try one more time before she enters her mid-30s, where the chances of pregnancy are lower. My parents refused to give her any more money, so she came over to my place where she had a mental breakdown begging me for help. I decided to help her out and helped pay by pulling $13,000 from my husband and mine's shared account. My husband was out of town for days, and I didn't go out on my way to tell him after he missed my initial call before going ahead and giving my sister the money. I brought it up with him on the phone later, and he blew up at me saying that I shouldn't have made such a decision and taken money out of our joint account without consulting him first. But I told him that I tried calling and he didn't pick up the first time, but he said I shouldn't have made any moves till I talked to him first. Then said that he didn't agree that I gave such a huge sum of money that he worked hard for, given that he contributes 70% of the money to this account, and said that I messed up big time. I tried to explain my sister's situation and how this was an emergency, and assured him she'd return the money. But he said no, she won't, since she doesn't even have a job. Same with her husband, and said I shouldn't support their bad decision to want a baby when they're broke to begin with. I had an argument with him and said he was acting cruel and unsupportive of my family, but he corrected me saying he's not a doormat and he worked hard for all that money that I had no problem giving away without even telling him. But that is my sister after all, and I felt obligated to help her out, but he refused to understand that. The last time we spoke, he demanded that I take the money back ASAP, but I haven't responded to him yet. Am I the asshole, or was he? Yeesh. So I have some questions. Why are your sister and her husband not employed? Like, I understand in the current market it's difficult to find a job, but how are none of them employed? Like, are they living with your parents, or what's the deal there? You know? Because I like, other than the government or like welfare type of thing, it's just weird to me. I feel like a vital piece is missing. Now, taking $13,000 from your husband and your shared account is asshole behavior. That's a lot of money. That's very, 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 very hard to raise. Like, that's a life-changing amount of money. And you mentioned in this that your sister has done the IVF procedures, what was it, 3 or 4 times before? You didn't say how many rounds it was, but who was paying for these? Like, were your parents footing the bill? That's what I'm assuming, because you mentioned that your parents refused to help them anymore. So some questions I had are, why were your parents footing $13,000 repeatedly for them to get failed IVF? Number 1. Number 2, why are neither of them employed? Like, why is your sister or her husband or her boyfriend not having some sort of income coming in? Like, that doesn't add up. If they live with your parents, they need to focus on, like, getting some sort of, like, a career going, you know? You didn't mention if they have any college degrees or anything like that, but it's imperative that they have some sort of money coming in. Because, let's say the IVF works and your sister gets pregnant. Who's going to pay for that child, or potentially children if it's twins or something? That's a terrible idea considering they don't have any actual income. I know that some people are able to raise a family on, like, minimum wage. I don't know how they do it. I know some people use, like, food stamps, if you're even able to get those when you're on minimum wage. And I know that some people even raise a family on welfare. But that involves, like, a hellish amount of saving, and it's very difficult. I would suggest that you not take money that isn't yours and then just give it to your sister without consulting your husband. Like, that's assholeish behavior. But you should talk to your sibling and tell her that she needs to get some sort of an income, because that's not fair to the future kid either, right? And if it doesn't work, then that's $13,000 is just gone. That's a lot of money. You could make a whole movie for that. Not a very expensive one, but still, you get what I'm saying? So, asshole Am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law I want to fuck her son? So my husband had to spend 2 months in a different state for work. He came back 9 days ago. I'm obviously thrilled he's back, and I've missed him a lot. I was hoping we'd be able to spend some time together, just the two of us. However, his mom, who's 56, came over when he was supposed to come home. I was slightly annoyed, but I know she was just excited for her son to be back. However, she never left. Like, I was prepared to deal with her being there for a day or two, but no. She came over for 9 days. Because she's been here for 9 days, we haven't had a second of time together. She insists on staying here instead of a hotel. For the record, she lives an hour away. The guest room is right next to ours, and the walls are thin. When the two of us go out, she comes with us, or makes one of us stay with her because otherwise we'd be bad hosts, as she puts it. She follows us around the house constantly. We want to cuddle and watch movies, and she's sitting in the armchair. We want to go to a romantic restaurant. Better make that a table for 3. We've even left her in the living room to go chat in our room, and she follows us. Earlier today, I just asked her to leave, even though both of us have been hinting that she needs to go. She kept saying she wasn't ready to go yet and wanted more time with her son. I tried telling her that we wanted some alone time, and she kept insisting that she join us. Finally, I snapped and said, "Since you seem to be oblivious, I'll put this bluntly. I want to fuck your son. If you don't want to see or hear that, then you need to leave." I know this isn't the classiest response ever, but I was frustrated. Anyway, she yelled at me, but eventually left. We finally got to have our alone time, but now she's blowing up both of our phones. She's saying that I'm disgusting and have no respect for her, her son, or myself. She keeps telling my husband that he shouldn't be with someone so crude, and how dare he let me speak to her like that. I'm sure you get the idea. I know that what I said was really inappropriate, so am I the asshole? I'm just gonna start by saying, no, you're not the asshole. It's bizarre. How old did you say your husband was again? 31 years old. It's weird that the mom is like so insistent on being all up around your husband. Her son, like he's like a 12-year-old or something, like she's gotta be monitoring everything. I get the feeling she was kind of a helicopter parent. And I mean, hey, right now we're in a world where people just decide to not parent their kids and let their kids run the house. So I mean, helicopter parent isn't the worst kind of parent you can be, but it can set you up for mental issues later on down the line. But like, that woman needs to understand that, like, hey, you know your husband's a grown man and has a wife. Maybe you should give your husband or give your son some space, you know? So not the asshole. Like you said, you could have said it in a way that's not so, like, gross, but nah, not the asshole. Number 4. Am I the asshole for getting my daughter's ear pierced without telling my husband? So for some context, me and my husband welcomed our daughter several months ago. So far, we've agreed on every decision made regarding our daughter, but the topic of piercing her ears came up, and he said that he didn't like the idea despite me explaining that 1, it's a normal thing for babies, 2, it looks pretty, 3, no, it's not cultural, we're both white, but it's a great new experience in my opinion. What? What does being white have to do with piercing your ears as a baby? Anyway, he said he needed some time to think about it, but weeks went by and he hasn't said okay yet. Mom suggested we do it behind his back, and he'll then come around and see for himself that it's a good thing, since he was having doubts and being indecisive. I was was hesitant, but I agreed and chose a day where he was out all day. Thankfully, it went smoothly, but when my husband got home and found out, he lost his temper and went on about what a major breach of trust I just committed, and how I should have never decided to do this without him, since he's the parent too, and he got extra mad that I went behind his back and was being sneaky and untruthful about it. I tried to explain that first it was my mom's idea. I didn't think he'd overreact like that, but he insisted that what I did was not okay, and that I overruled him as a parent and damaged the trust that we have, and also put our daughter through pain and discomfort. I had an argument with him and told him he was acting like this is just his daughter. I'm the mother, and my opinion does have heavier weight than his to some degree. That's bullshit. He got offended by that and went to stay with his mom, who called and berated me for going behind her son's back and treated him like less than when it comes to our daughter. But I never understood why he thought that. He's not talking to me now. I think he's being selfish by saying he needed time to think about it and trying to stall without considering my point of view. Mom is on my side here, but he and my in-laws said I screwed up for making such a decision without his okay and going behind his back to get it done. Am I the asshole? Yeah, but I'd say your mom is also the even bigger asshole. And I don't understand what you mean by saying that your view is heavier than his. Like, why is that? That makes me think of, like, because I grew up and my mom left the family when I was little. And my dad had to fight to get custody, and it's like sometimes some really bad moms just get custody for no reason. I don't know if this is like similar to that, where they think just because you're the mom that you have more say than the dad or what, but that's not how it goes. It should be equal. And I don't think that this is something that the couple should break up over, but it's just, you shouldn't do that. You should make decisions together as a family because you are a family. And what the mom thinks shouldn't matter at all. She's not really part of the close family in terms of like direct, you know what I mean? And yeah, you can say, well, that's my mom. Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. Yeesh. Number 5. Would I be the asshole if I imposed a no phones policy at my place? Hey, just a quick backstory. I've always hated the way mobile phones have intruded on our daily lives. So for me, I've tried using it less and less, and I feel like it's improved my mental health, especially by removing social medias on it too. One of my biggest pet peeves is when people bring out their phone in the middle of conversations or dinner, and as soon as that happens, the entire or part of the conversation just dies because it's hard to talk to someone staring into their phone. I just find it to be a rude thing that people in my generation, around 27 years old, haven't realized that it's in fact rude to do. I might be a bit extreme because these days I don't even like the phone being on the dinner table. With all this said, I do understand that sometimes you have to use your phone, so I'm not saying you can't ever use it either. Here's where I'm wondering if I'm the asshole. Would I be the asshole if I made anyone who visited my place be required to put their phone into a little box that's in the hallway? Basically, that if they need to use their phone, they would have to go and use it in the hallway. Now, this is my place, so I can do whatever I want with it, but it would inevitably create drama when people come to visit, because as I've discovered, taking away someone's phone can be as difficult as taking away someone's drug. Since it's an everyday item, I am, however, seen as the extreme one here by most of my family. Also, if I do make a policy like this, I would have to enforce it, which would mean I'd most likely have to kick someone out before they enter since they don't want to put away their phone. Hence where the drama comes in. Obviously, I would also be open to people keeping their phones on them depending on the circumstance, like, say, if they're expecting an important call or something. And I would make it so guests who are staying over can use it in the guest rooms too. Eventually, I'd want the same rules to apply to my own future kids, since I don't want them to have to deal with the poor mental health caused by these devices. Is this a reasonable request to have? I wouldn't say you're the asshole, but if you're trying to make to your house. Like, good luck with that. You have no authority over them. And it's like, I feel like you're just gonna wind up having like nobody come over to visit you. It seems kind of weird, you know what I mean? To be like, just, oh yeah, put your phone in the box, put your phone in the box. It's bizarre. I mean, sure, phones are pretty much everywhere now, but I don't think that just forcing someone to put it in a box is the correct answer, you know? Very odd. But again, I want to thank Marvin and David. Sorry also that I didn't upload for a bit. I was just a little bit down in the dumps, but I'm back now, and I'm hoping to upload as much as I can. On a positive note, the channel is now monetized, so I'm able to make a little bit of money off of these videos, and that's cool. I guess that means that I must be motivated to make the videos more often, because then I can actually make some more, and it can help me to like pay bills or get gas in my car and save money and upgrade stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. If you want to be a channel member, you can. I very much appreciate it. If you don't, that's totally fine. I hope that you'll leave a like and a comment though. And yeah,